Hey, James Himm Mitchell back here again doing the second part of our Lenormand Oracle Meets Days of Our Lives series. And so, if you're just catching this episode, what we did was the last episode we did a Lenormand Oracle card reading for Will Horton and Sonny Kiriakis, and we were asking the question about their marriage and could it be saved because Will cheated on Sonny with Sonny's ex, Paul. And so we looked at that, and the interesting thing in the reading was that we had a card that represented Will, we had a card representing Paul, and we had a card representing Sonny. Will's card showed up in the reading, Paul's card showed up in the reading, Sonny's card didn't. And so at the end of that episode, I turned all the cards over to find out where Sonny's card was, and it turned out, in a shocking plot twist, that Sonny's card was actually next to Will's card, but it hadn't been revealed in the reading. So I was curious because we had Sonny's card next to Will's card, and I wanted to take a look at the other cards around them, and we're going to do what's called a box spread or a portrait spread to find out what's going on and why was Sonny's card not showing up in the reading. And so we now pick up where we last left off. Okay, and so now we're back. And so in the last reading we did, these were the cards that were face up, and by the time we got to the end, as I said, this is Will's card, and Paul's card was further up in the reading, but Sonny's card was absent. So I was curious to see where Sonny's card was. So I turned over all the cards one by one until we got to Sonny's card, and then Sonny's card was right here, face down. So we had Sonny's card here, face down, next to Will's card the entire reading, but Sonny's card never showed up. So now the question was, remember, Will had come to us asking if his marriage to Sonny was going to be saved or not. The fact that the card was face down and next to him the entire time, to me said, this is not going to go well. It's not going to end well. So what I did was, not only did I turn Sonny's card over, but then I turned over the cards that were underneath him and Will, as well as the card next to them, because I also noticed that we had Sonny, Will, and then the child card here next to Will represents his daughter, Ariana Grace, who Sonny and Will are raising together. So I was intrigued by the fact that the entire family was right here in the middle of these three rows. And so now this is what we call a box spread or a portrait spread, where we take 8 cards around the center card, which is Will, because remember, he's the focus of the reading because he's the one that's coming to see us. And I wanted to see what the cards around him had to say in relation to his question. So the first thing that strikes me, other than the fact that Sonny's card was face down, is that the card above Sonny is the crossroads. And so the crossroads, if you remember, as I said in the last episode, represents a decision. It's coming up to a crossroads and a choice that needs to be made. It's funny that it's above Sonny's head, because now he is faced based on what Will did. What's he going to choose to do? Is he going to stay or is he going to go? And a thing sometimes with the crossroads, it can represent a departure. So it's very funny that it's above Sonny here. Now the card that's underneath Sonny this is called the sickle. And so the sickle can represent something that is painful, something that hurts, something that's wounding to another person. It can also represent something fast, swift, and it can also represent a break or something being severed. Now, very interesting that the crossroads and the sickle are around Sonny. And I should say, by the way, this row represents the past, this row represents the present, and this row represents the future. So here we have Sonny in the past, who was face down, and also, too, a choice that could lead to a break or a severance. Now, in addition to that, the sickle represents something dangerous. And so what happened was, in the storyline on the show, is that when Sonny found out about the affair, he was going to confront Will. But what happened was, on the way, he got stabbed. And he was in the hospital. So that's something else that I noticed, is that on his way to the hospital to confront his husband about his affair, he was attacked. So, but I'm seeing this, it's very interesting how all these are in the past. That this was a situation from the past that happened to Sonny, but it's also that he's in the past, like he's no longer part of the picture. I just love how the cards just keep reinforcing that idea. Okay, so now we're going to move to the cards that are above Will. So now here we have the moon. And if you remember in the previous episode, in that reading I had said that the moon represented Will's career, because the moon can represent work, career, and a need to be famous, or a need for some kind of recognition. So, you know, I'm seeing this as Will's mind, even though he claims that he wants to make his marriage work, a lot of his energy is being put towards making a name for himself with his work. Now the card beneath him is the lilies. And so whenever the lilies comes up, one of the meanings it can represent is sex. So this is a sex card. But for me, it's also about experience and wisdom gained from experience. So he has to be able to recognize what he has learned from having had this experience. Again, you know, these two cards can also be about his work-related experience. A lot of this has happened because of his job. Remember, I said that Paul came into the storyline because Will was going to interview him and get him to come out. So now here's another thing. That was that's a sexual orientation question and issue. But here it is. It's like Will was determined to get that story about Paul. And so that's the lilies. But the bigger question in terms of his relationship to Sonny and whether it can be saved or not, is the moon is saying, what did you recognize from having had that experience? And one of the things it could be is like he realizes how important his marriage is, even though he doesn't really demonstrate that. Okay, so that's this row. Now here, in the row that we have Ariana, now we have the bouquet, and the bouquet I said was something that's a gift, something that's wonderful, something that's pleasant. So it could be saying too that one of the things that Will needs to recognize, being next to the moon, is that he's got a great life. And he made the choice that's put him in this position now. But he's had a good life. He's got a good partner, a child, all the things that most people would want in life, and he has taken it for granted. But that's what this card is. The bouquet is getting him to realize how good he had it. And then the child, other than representing an actual child, this card can represent something new. So it could be that he gets a surprise or something pleasant to start something new with the child here. But now here we have the last card, the exit card, and that's the mountain. And so whenever the mountain comes up, it represents something coming to a halt, something that's going to take a long time to overcome, something that's going to experience a setback or a delay. But the biggest thing about the mountain is it represents a challenge, an obstacle. We started here with a departure, a new direction. It ends with a setback, a delay, and a challenge that needs to be overcome, some sort of block or obstacle. So that's the reading. We could look at, any additional information going across. So, the sickle here again represents the break, the pain, the hurt, and the wisdom gained from that. But even with that, or a break that resulted from a sexual experience, the lilies, and that's going to take a long time to overcome. Now it's caused a block, an obstacle, a challenge, and it's going to take a long time to overcome that.